Part 3 is a beautifully crafted section that shifts the story's emotional landscape. It moves from quiet reminiscence to dramatic revelation, opening new doors for the characters. The uncovering of the letters not only rewrites Helen's history, but also offers hope that what was lost might be found. The themes of memory, truth, and healing are universal and timeless, making this part deeply moving and engaging. It's a turning point in the story, filled with emotional richness and dramatic potential, perfectly suited for a mature, romantic audience that appreciates heartfelt storytelling. If you'd like, I can continue with a similar detailed explanation of Part 4 or help with anything else related to the story. You said, explain Part 4 in 2000 words. ChatGPT said, certainly. Here is an in-depth, detailed explanation of Part 4. The Night of Confessions, crafted to provide a rich understanding of the characters, emotions, setting, themes, and narrative significance, all in about 2,000 words. Expanded explanation of Part 4. The Night of Confessions, setting the scene. The quiet night in Helen's living room. Part 4 brings us back to the present. In the intimate, warmly lit living room of Helen's old house on Willow Creek Road, atmosphere is calm yet charged with anticipation. A gentle hush fills the air, inviting honest conversation and emotional vulnerability. The quiet night setting is important. It represents a safe space for revelations and confessions. The darkness outside contrasts with the warmth inside, emphasizing that difficult truths and tender moments often unfold in privacy and quietude. Helen and Noah sit together, the letters between them, physical proof of a past that was never truly lost. This setting creates a feeling of closeness and intimacy, a private world where generations meet to share truths and heal old wounds. The emotional weight of the moment. This part is the emotional climax of the story. After decades of silence, misunderstandings, and unspoken feelings, Helen chooses to open her heart to Noah. Her confession about her true feelings for Thomas, the heartbreak caused by her mother's interference, and the sacrifices she made bring to the surface a lifetime of longing and regret. Noah listens attentively, embodying patience, love, and understanding. His presence reassures Helen that her story will be honored and her pain acknowledged. This exchange is not just a sharing of facts. It's a deeply emotional moment, bridging generational divides with empathy and love. Helen's confession, a lifetime of love and sacrifice. Helen's confession reveals the profound emotional truth she has carried for over 50 years. Thomas was her true love. Her marriage to John was not born from passion, but from necessity and comfort. She never stopped loving Thomas, even while building a life with John. She kept her pain silent, out of respect for family and a sense of duty. This confession is powerful because it touches on the complexity of adult love. It recognizes that love isn't always simple or fair. Sometimes, it is tangled with sacrifice, compromise, and quiet suffering. Helen's honesty is courageous. She breaks decades of silence, risking vulnerability but also opening the door to healing. Noah's role as a compassionate listener and supporter. Noah's reaction to Helen's story is key. He does not judge or rush to conclusions. Instead, he offers comfort and acceptance. His presence symbolizes the hope that new generations can understand and embrace the complicated truths of those who came before. Noah's empathy encourages Helen to see that her story matters and that love, even lost or unfulfilled, is never wasted. The revelation about John. Respect and gratitude. Helen also speaks about John, the man who became her husband and Noah's grandfather. She explains how John was kind, steady, and supportive, providing stability when she needed it most. Importantly, Helen expresses gratitude for John's presence in her life, even as she acknowledges that her heart belonged elsewhere. This nuanced portrayal of love shows maturity and respect for the different kinds of love people experience in a lifetime. It challenges simplistic notions of right or wrong love and honors the complexity of human relationships. The theme of forgiveness and healing. A central theme in this part is forgiveness, both of others and of oneself. Helen grapples with forgiving her mother for interfering in her relationship with Thomas, and with forgiving herself for the choices she made. Noah's support helps create an environment where healing can begin. The story suggests that sharing pain, no matter how old, can lighten the burden and bring peace. This theme resonates deeply with audiences who understand that life's wounds often require time, courage, and compassion to heal. The power of storytelling and truth-telling. Helen's confession underscores the importance of storytelling as a means of emotional release and connection. For decades, Helen carried her story alone. By finally telling it, she passes on a legacy of love, pain, and resilience to Noah. This act of truth-telling honors her past and enriches her family's future. It invites listeners to reflect on their own histories and the stories that shape them. Emotional nuance and mature romantic tone. The writing in this part maintains a gentle, mature tone. There is no dramatization or melodrama, only a tender exploration of complex emotions. The focus is on internal experiences, longing, regret, courage, and acceptance. This tone respects the intelligence and emotional sophistication of the audience, making the story feel authentic and heartfelt. Symbolism and imagery. Several symbolic elements enrich this part. The letters on the table represent the tangible connection between past and present, love and loss. The night and the warm light symbolize the safe space for vulnerability and the hope that emerges from darkness. Helen's voice and tears convey the release of long-held emotions and the beginning of healing. These symbols help the reader feel the emotional weight and significance of the moment. Dramatic and narrative closure. Part 4 brings the story toward closure while leaving space for reflection. Helen's confession answers many questions but also opens new ones about what might have been. The story ends on a note of quiet hope, that even lives shaped by loss and silence can find moments of truth, love, and connection. The gentle cliffhanger is emotional rather than plot-driven. The story invites readers to imagine what Helen and Noah's relationship might become after this night of confessions. Relatability and universal appeal. For audiences in the US and Canada, this part resonates because it reflects the importance of family conversations and emotional honesty, the complexity of love across generations, the power of forgiveness, and understanding and healing old wounds. The idea that everyone carries hidden stories that shape their lives. Character growth and future possibilities. Helen emerges from this part as a woman who has found some peace by sharing her truth. Noah steps into a more mature role as a compassionate listener and protector of family history. Their relationship deepens, suggesting that storytelling and openness can strengthen bonds and help heal generational divides. This sets a hopeful tone for the future, where past pains might coexist with new love and understanding. Themes summarized. Love in its many forms. Passionate first love, steady companionship, and filial love coexist in Helen's life story. Sacrifice and duty. Adult choices often involve compromises that shape lives quietly. Truth and healing. Speaking the truth enables emotional healing and renewal. Forgiveness. Both self-forgiveness and forgiving others are essential for peace. Legacy and connection. Sharing stories connects generations and preserves family history. Themes explored in Part 2. Several themes emerge strongly in this part. Youthful idealism vs. reality. Helen and Thomas's love represents youthful dreams and possibilities, while the obstacles they face remind us that life often complicates those dreams. Distance and separation. Physical distance becomes a barrier that challenges their bond. This theme is timeless and relatable, especially in today's globalized world. Hope and disappointment. The letters symbolize hope, but their sudden stop leads to deep disappointment, reflecting the fragile nature of human connection. The complexity of love. Helen's story shows that love is not always simple or perfect. It can be layered with longing, regret, and the need to move on. Family and duty. Helen's responsibilities to her family and her eventual marriage to John underscore the theme of duty and sacrifice in adult life. Emotional depth and character. Development in this part. Helen's character is fleshed out as a young woman caught between dreams and duty. Her innocence, her passionate love for Thomas, and her heartbreak make her deeply sympathetic. Thomas, though less directly present, is painted with enough detail to be compelling, a figure of both romantic idealism and tragic distance. John's introduction as the kind and steady partner shows the complexity of adult love. It's not always fiery, but can be quietly supportive. The emotions of hope, longing, heartbreak, and resignation are conveyed in a way that feels authentic and heartfelt. Relatability for the audience. For an audience in the US and Canada, this story of a 1960s summer romance carries resonance because it reflects the cultural atmosphere of the era, when letter writing was common and young love was often shadowed by bigger world events. The themes of separation, missed connections, and the need to choose stability over passion are timeless and cross-cultural. Many people can relate to the feeling of waiting for a love that doesn't arrive or changes course unexpectedly. Dramatic structure and foreshadowing. Part 2 builds a clear narrative arc, a beautiful beginning, growing connection, followed by separation and heartbreak. The slow fading of letters is a natural, poignant cliffhanger. It leaves the reader wondering what caused the silence. The introduction of John as a new love interest adds complexity, setting the stage for potential tension between past and present. Memory and reality. Symbolism and imagery. The story uses several symbolic elements, books and poetry, representing intellect, emotion, and the romantic ideals shared by Helen and Thomas. Letters. Tangible proof of love and connection, but also of silence and loss. The summer. A fleeting moment of perfect happiness and possibility before the harsh realities set in. These symbols enrich the narrative and invite readers to think about how love is experienced and remembered. Part 3 transports us back into the present, shifting the mood from nostalgia and longing to revelation and surprise. The setting shifts to a dusty attic, a classic symbol in literature and storytelling, representing forgotten memories, hidden truths, and the passage of time. The attic is dark, cramped, filled with old boxes, faded photographs, and relics of a life lived. For Helen, this space embodies the past, the parts of her life she has carefully packed away, perhaps even tried to forget. When Noah climbs into the attic in search of old photos, he is literally digging through the layers of family history. His youthful energy contrasts with the silence and stillness of the attic, symbolizing how new generations can uncover hidden parts of their ancestors' lives. The wooden box. A portal to the past. Discovery of the wooden box marked HM, Helen Margaret, is a pivotal moment in the story. It acts as a physical container of Helen's memories and secrets, untouched for decades. Boxes like these often hold emotional significance. They keep cherished items safe, but also keep memories locked away from everyday life. The fact that the box is in the attic, forgotten and covered in dust, suggests that Helen has consciously or unconsciously suppressed these memories for many years. Noah's discovery of the box is a moment of suspense and anticipation for readers, signaling that long-hidden truths are about to surface. The letters are hidden. Love rekindled inside the box are over 40 letters, neatly tied with a faded blue ribbon, a delicate and evocative image. The color blue often symbolizes sadness and longing, but also calm and truth. These letters are from Thomas, Helen's first love, and their existence turns the entire narrative upside down. Helen had believed the letters had stopped, and that Thomas had forgotten her. The truth, that the letters never stopped, challenges everything she thought she knew. The discovery is both beautiful and heartbreaking. It reveals that love, even if separated by distance and silence, was persistent and enduring. The last letter, a heartbreaking farewell, the final letter, dated February 1966, is particularly poignant. Thomas writes that he hasn't heard from Helen in 6 months, expresses confusion and pain, but assures her that he never stopped loving her. This letter becomes a symbol of misunderstood fate. A love lost not because feelings faded, but because communication was blocked or prevented by external forces. Helen's reaction to the letter, disbelief and trembling voice, shows the depth of her emotional shock. This moment forces her to confront years of pain, built on a false assumption. The role of family, interference and secrets. Helen, a sudden realization that her mother might have intercepted the letters, introduces a new dimension to the story. Family interference. This is a theme many readers can relate to, especially in cultures or families where parents exert strong control over relationships and communication. The thought that Helen's mother never liked Thomas and might have stopped the letters from reaching her adds a layer of tragedy and betrayal to the narrative. It also explains why Helen's heartbreak was rooted in silence, not rejection. Noah's role. The bridge between past and present. Noah's reaction to finding the letters is crucial. His calm, quiet support contrasts with Helen's emotional turmoil. He becomes a symbol of hope and renewal, the new generation willing to uncover the truth and confront the past. Noah's words, "He didn't stop writing. You just never got." Then, are a simple but powerful statement that resets the story's emotional core. It challenges Helen's lifelong narrative and opens the door to healing. Themes of memory, truth, and healing. Part 3 delves into profound themes. Memory and the past. The attic and the letters symbolize the ways we store, and sometimes hide, painful memories. This section explores how the past can resurface and demand attention. Truth and misunderstanding. The discovery of the letters highlights how misunderstandings can shape entire lives. Helen's heartbreak was based on misinformation, showing how truth is fragile and sometimes lost. Family secrets. The suggestion that Helen's mother withheld the letters touches on the idea that family can sometimes protect but also harm through secrets and control. Healing and renewal. Noah's discovery offers a chance for Helen to heal, showing that even long-buried wounds can begin to mend with knowledge and support. Emotional complexity in character. Growth. Helen's emotional journey in this part is rich and complex. Her disbelief, pain, and shock reflect the deep human experience of confronting long-held beliefs about love and loss. Her vulnerability here makes her deeply relatable and sympathetic. Many people carry hidden wounds or misunderstandings that shape their emotional lives. Noah's compassionate presence provides a gentle counterbalance. He's both curious and caring, embodying the hope that comes from new perspectives. Symbolism and imagery. The imagery in this part is vivid and symbolic. The dusty attic represents forgotten memories, suppressed emotions and the hidden past. The wooden box, a treasure chest of love and secrets. The faded blue ribbon suggests both the sadness and the delicate beauty of lost love. The letters themselves embody communication, connection, and ultimately, the lost chance for reunion. These symbols enrich the story and deepen its emotional resonance. Dramatic tension and cliffhanger. The discovery of the letters serves as a dramatic turning point. The story shifts from retrospective storytelling to an active quest for truth. Helen and Noah are now faced with a decision: what to do with this new information. The part ends with a profound silence and the weight of new possibilities. A soft but compelling cliffhanger that invites readers to wonder how Helen will respond. Relatability for the audience. For readers in the US and Canada, this part resonates with familiar family dynamics. The tension between parents and children, the impact of secrets, and the pain of misunderstandings. The universal experience of discovering something unexpected about one's family adds emotional depth. Furthermore, the theme of letters and missed connections echoes with many who have experienced long-distance relationships or family estrangements. The role of communication and miscommunication. One of the core messages here is about the power of communication, or the damage done by its absence. Helen and Thomas's love survived distance, but not silence. The interruption of their letters shows how fragile love can be when communication breaks down. This theme is particularly relevant today, reminding readers how important it is to keep connections open and honest. Character development. Moving forward after this revelation, Helen's character is poised for growth. She must reconcile the past she believed with the new truth. Noah's role as supporter and catalyst will likely become more important as they explore what this discovery means for. Setting the scene. The old house on Willow Creek Road. The story opens on a quiet evening in Vermont, in an old house that holds decades of memories. The house itself is almost a character in the story. Creaky, aged, and full of life, much like Helen, the grandmother who lives there. The location, Willow Creek Road, suggests a rural, peaceful setting. The sound of the creek and the gentle rustling of the wind set a calming, almost nostalgic atmosphere. It's the kind of place where time moves slower, and where nature weaves into daily life. Perfect for quiet moments of reflection. The fact that the windows are open and the curtains move softly suggests a gentle connection between the indoors and outdoors. It also evokes a sense of ghosts of the past, memories that drift through the house like the breeze. This setting frames the tone of the story perfectly. Calm yet emotionally rich, inviting the reader to lean in and listen to the intimate secrets that might be shared here. Introducing Helen, a woman of memory and quiet strength. Helen, the protagonist in this part, is introduced sitting in a rocking chair. This simple image tells us a lot about her. She's elderly, probably in her late 70s or early 80s, and reflective. A rocking chair is symbolic of comfort and the passage of time. It rocks slowly, just as Helen's thoughts seem to move through years and memories. The soft creaking adds a sensory detail that makes the scene feel alive. Helen's silence and stillness invite curiosity. She is not a woman of many words now, but there's a sense that beneath her calm exterior lies a rich emotional world. The relationship between Helen and Noah, grandmother and grandson. Noah, Helen's grandson, is 21, a young man on the cusp of adulthood. He's visiting for the summer before starting his final year of college. His youth contrasts with Helen's age, but their relationship feels warm and close. Noah's curiosity is a key element. He asks Helen if she's ever thought about love, which suggests he's either dealing with his own questions about romance, or he's simply interested in the wisdom of the older generation. Helen's initial response, every day, is soft, almost a whisper, hinting that love has been a central theme in her life, though perhaps a complicated one. The way Noah asks if she ever had someone before, Grandpa introduces the first emotional tension. It shows that Noah is not just looking for a simple story. He wants to understand Helen's deeper past. Helen's hidden story. Love that never really ended when Helen says, yes, his name was Thomas. She opens a window to a past love that she has kept hidden for 50 years. This moment is charged with emotion. Helen's heart skipping a beat shows vulnerability, and the fact that she had never told anyone this before adds weight. Readers immediately sense that this love, Thomas, was significant, possibly the love of her life. But something prevented it from becoming her lifelong partner. The subtle emotional tone. Writing style in this part is simple but layered with meaning. The dialogue between Helen and Noah is natural and easy to follow, yet it carries the weight of unspoken feelings and memories. The emotional tone is gentle and mature, fitting the themes of longing and heartbreak without being melodramatic or explicit. It's a quiet moment between two generations that touches on universal experiences: love, loss, and the passing of time. Themes introduced. Several mature themes are introduced subtly here. Longing. Helen's love for Thomas is described as something that never really ended, implying a deep, ongoing emotional connection despite time and circumstance. Heartbreak. The implication that Helen's first love did not end in marriage or lifelong partnership suggests a sense of loss. Secrets and silence. Helen's reluctance or inability to share this story until now hints at family dynamics, regrets, or pain that has been quietly endured. Generational connection. Noah's questions show a bridge between the past and the present, with younger generations seeking understanding from their elders. Emotional richness and relatability. And Noah are written to feel real and relatable. Helen's mix of strength, softness, and sadness is something many people can identify with, especially those who have carried memories of past loves. Noah's youthful curiosity and tenderness also make him easy to connect with, representing the universal desire to learn about where we come from, especially about the emotional legacies in our families. Setting the scene. Burlington, Vermont, summer of 1964. The second part of the story takes us back in time to the summer of 1964, a vivid period when Helen was just 19 years old. The setting here is Burlington, Vermont, a charming college town by Lake Champlain, known for its quaint bookstores, cobblestone streets, and vibrant youth culture. This backdrop is important because it situates the story in an era marked by both innocence and upheaval. The 1960s were a time of great social change, but also of personal discoveries and dreams. For a young woman like Helen, the summer of 1964 was a moment of awakening, both to love and to the wider world. The small bookstore where Helen works becomes the focal point, a cozy, almost magical place where stories, poetry, and real-life romance intertwine. Bookstores have a natural romantic symbolism, places of imagination, escape, and connection. Introducing Thomas Whitaker. The first love. Thomas Whitaker enters the story here as a young man from Montreal, Canada. This detail adds a subtle layer of complexity and intrigue. He's not from Helen's small town or even her country. The fact that he's from Montreal brings a bit of international flavor, suggesting differences in culture and lifestyle that might both attract and complicate their relationship. Thomas is described as charming, with dark, thoughtful eyes and a voice like a song. These descriptions paint him as a poetic, almost idealized figure in Helen's young heart. The choice of the word song evokes something melodic, soothing, and unforgettable. His character represents the youthful ideal of romance, a man who can talk about dreams, music, poetry, and serious topics like the Vietnam War, which was a looming shadow over their generation. The magic of a summer romance. Helen and Thomas's love story unfolds, quietly but powerfully over that summer. The story shows their connection not through grand gestures, but through small, intimate moments, talking for hours about books and music, holding hands under the stars, reading poetry under the shade of trees. These details highlight the innocence and intensity of first love, the way it feels, all-consuming yet tender. There is also a sense of deep intellectual connection between them, which makes their love feel grounded in more than just physical attraction. They are two young souls discovering not only each other, but also the larger world beyond their own lives. Role of letters. A symbol of connection and separation. Letters play a major role in this part of the story. They represent a lifeline between Helen and Thomas once they are separated by distance. The act of writing letters in the 1960s was an intimate and deliberate way to communicate, much slower and more meaningful than today's instant messages. The exchange of letters becomes a metaphor for hope, trust, and the fragile threads that bind people who love each other but cannot be together physically. The story emphasizes how these letters carried their thoughts, fears, dreams, and affection across miles. Each letter is a tangible proof of their love, something to hold on to when everything else seems uncertain. The heartbreak of separation and uncertainty. The summer ends, and Thomas has to return to Canada to continue his university studies. This moment introduces the first real obstacle in their relationship: distance and the responsibilities of growing up. Helen, meanwhile, has her own burdens. Her father is sick, and she cannot leave her family or hometown. These practical realities contrast painfully with the idealistic summer romance. As months pass, the letters keep coming, almost a year's worth. This sustained exchange shows their commitment and the depth of their feelings. Yet, the story also builds tension and sadness, foreshadowing that this love will not have a simple, happy ending. Then, suddenly, the letters stop.